Yo, what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be giving you a preview for the Roots of War League Legendary Qualifiers Round 1. Yes, we have finally wrapped up round robins, or the group play round, and we are entering to our first kind of mini tournament of 4 before we get to playoffs. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up, because that was a lot. Thanks. Now, I will be porting over the information to the public Roots of War League Season 1. As most of you know, I have been keeping a sheet on this just so we have some kind of historical archiving of a library, and we can reference or use that for future at some point. However, again, let's go over where we're at, right? So you could see here, we have finished group round 1 through 3. We are entering into Legendary Qualifiers round 1 and 2. There will be a rest period. And then we have playoffs for round 1. That'll be starting on October 5th. So we are less than a month away now from playoffs. Let's go and take a look at the scheduling. So there's 3 tiers, right? We have Legendary, Strife Conference, Epic. So keep in mind, right? Let's review. Strife Conference Legendary is for the kingdoms/alliances that placed first in their groups. Strife Conference Epic is for those that place second in their group. And then you have one newcomer, right, which is for those who placed first. Okay. And you can see that reflected here, right? So as we look through each, now I'm going to be updating these for the wins, losses, win margins, as long as I can get to it before it disappears. We have it from week 2, but we have to update week 3. However, let's go through and show you as I plugged all of this in on the sheet. I'm going to disappear for a moment just so you guys can see everything. However, let's go top down. And then I also made the qualifier round prelim tab. And again, I'll port this over to the public version of the spreadsheet. For those of you that would like to get access to that, the easiest way to do that is join the Discord. A link to that's in the pinned comment description down below. Once you join, head over to where it says reaction roles. You'll select CallofDragons, which is going to be the one that has the most amount of reactions. You'll click on this, so that way it'll give you a role. You'll head here to where it says CallofDragons as the title. If it doesn't pop out, just click the header. You'll go to COD Data Stats, and you're going to find the public Roots of War League sheet right there. Okay. So this is who we have, right? So WB, ED, NM, NXG, they placed first in their groups. FF, E86, ST, 1, they placed second. In Division 2, we had BTX, Sith, BEK, K95 placing first. WTF, Seam, Horde, DGM placing second. We had, and again, right, remember the points aren't reflected because I haven't gone to do that. Power and group, and I basically rearranged the rows just to reflect who placed first and second, as there were some switches that needed to be made. EIS, BPT, DK, MBH placed first. MFS, War, Warseer, Wark, RP, ICE placed second. Division 430 NA, OPB, WW, NVD placed first. HF, Wind, CFN, SIN placed second. In group Division 5, Echo, -FU, BTW, GTR placed first. BB, SOE, MLS, Luna placed second. Division 6, Echo's second team, 1UP, AC, ARC W placed first. Then we had NWN, BBF, RNN, WOY placing second. Division 7, we had NTS, SVR, ASC, FRCO placing first. Blur, LOC, Cinna, SE placing second. Division 8, OMG, NB, SG97, ARN. Again, if it's purple, they place first. Pink, they place second. They place first. 262, 88D, WGG, Tech D placed second. Division 9, Rage, RAM, MFD, SW2 placed first. EXG, LFT, GSSA, D282 placed second. Division 10, RAC, Kong, DGen, RS placing first. Ash, OR, FSK2, EXE placing second. Division 11, we had A2G, OL, Mojo, Buns placing first. AFK, REF, TWSK, AVO placing second. WAO, Last, Sin B, FWX placing first in Division 12. TR, SHP, ZERS, XSJ placing second. Division 13, we had EIL, NWE, GRZ, Laws, YBD, those placing first. YBD, BPM, NFW, VC placing second. Division 14, FWY, WGL, VOD, SIN placing first. And then we had NE, or N3, KL7, Unique, NS placing second. Division 15, TFS, RK, 14BS, OEV placing first. RRC, DAU, BD, AV placing second. Division 16, we had BNR, 05DK, K211 Law placing first, JPLS, VKNG, VAL, and JKL placing second. Division 17, MFD, MVP, LXV, Baby placing first, JRX, GDCS, NWS placing second. Division 18, Apex, ZZZ, Kin, Mod placing first, WER, IWV, LOM, THS placing second. Division 19, TDC, 33, SHPZ, PUTO placing first. BOM, CFRA, 50W, WOV placing second. Then we end up getting in Division 20, X, CSL, SEAL, BXS placing first. LD, EVA, TOC, Myth placing second. Division 21, BTR, SNICS, HOF, VKG placing first. MAD, ASI, AG, AO placing second. Division 22, Echo third team. OMG, I think second team. LPG, PX first. CLGT, 404 Max, POD1, which I think is Pod's second team because they had one over here, so they might be same. I would have to double check on the kingdoms because I didn't include that here on the prelims for Strife. But they placed second. Division 23, DYH, DTF, second team. IWG, Pod placing first. INWA, I think their second team. CRSH, DOU, WB placing second. Division 24, FSK, AVIC, Bear, Gray placing first. A547, Rage, DEA unit placing second. Division 25, we had Squiggly Eyes, EXG, HEHD placing first. Ego, BRY, War, and DNM placing second. Division 26, YSS, UOU, WIC, IR placing first. War, FA, KOV, OOC placing second. Division 27, S2AK, NTW, HP, BHF placing first. GSS, HTF, BEST, TMDB placing second. Division 28, ROG, NF57, Wolf 30, NC placing first. VP 22, NCB, Go, TGV placing second. Division 29, I21SW, GDW, LV placing first. 5 PUD, MH2, NXSC, K502 placing second. Division 30, 25AL, GG, Lion, RP placing first. SSL, PB, Suns, GF placing second. Division 31, NTA, FA, Sura, GPX placing first. Swag, PP, Brew, Alti placing second. And then last division for 32, GCS, NXW, RGU, FG placing first. SIP, HIP, which is funny to say back to back. EXG and FTS placing second. So there you go for the 32 groups. Now let's take a look at how the qualifier round prelims look. This, I tied it up a little bit more. So round 1, round 2, if it's purple, that's Strife. If it's pink, that is Epic, right? So again, for the Strife conference, but one's legendary, one's Epic. Here is kind of a quick view, right? So we got WBA going up against ED, NM going up against NXG, FF is going to go up against E86, ST going up against 1. You could see power as well. I'll potentially add in like how many wins or maybe just the power differential that they got possibly. We'll see. I'll at least add that in on the Strife prelim one. So we'll end up seeing what we end up doing from here. Then we get BTX versus Sith, WTF Seam, Beck versus K95, Horde versus DGN. Division 3 is EAS versus BPT, DK versus MBH. And then we got Epic, MFS, War C, and then RP versus Ice. Ice, baby. No. Division 4, 30NA versus OPB, WW versus NVD. HF is going to go up against Wind. CFN versus Sin. Division 5 is Echo versus FU. BTW versus GTR. BB versus SOE. And MLS versus Luna. Then we get Division 6. This is going to be Echo 1 versus 1UP. AC versus ARC-W, NWN versus BBF, RNN versus WOY. Division 7, we got NTS versus SVR, ASC versus FRCO, Blur versus LOC, and Cinna versus SE. Division 8, OMG versus 30MB, SG97 versus ERA, 262 versus 88D, WGG versus TechD. Division 9, Rage versus RAM, MFD1 versus SW2, EXG versus LFT, GSSA versus D282. Division 10, RAC versus Kong, We got DGen versus RS, Ash versus OR, FSK2 versus EXE. Division 11, A2G versus OL. Ooh. Oh, buddy, hang on there. Whoa, hang on. Let's go down. Where was I? Here we go. Whoa, I thought I had included that. Rookie mistake. Mojo versus Buns. AFK versus REF. TWSK versus AVO. Division 12. WAO versus Last. SNB versus SWX. TR versus SHP. ERS versus XSJ. Division 13 is going to be EIL versus NWE. GRZ versus Laws. YBD versus BPM. NWF versus VC. Division 14 is FWY versus VGL. VOD versus SIN. N3 versus KL7. Unique versus NS. Division 15, TFS versus RK. 14 BS versus OEV. RC versus DAU. BD versus AV. Division 16, BNR versus O5DK. K211 versus LAW. JPLS versus VKNG. VAL versus JKL. Division 17, MFD versus MVP. LXV versus Baby. JRX versus GD. CS versus NSW. NWS. Division 18, Apex versus ZZZ. Kin versus Mod. WER versus IWV. LOM versus THS. Division 19, we got TDC versus 3-3 or Slanted Eyes. SHPZ versus PUTO. BOM versus CFRA. 50W versus WOV. Division 20, X versus SCL. CO versus BXS. LD versus EVA. TOC versus Smith. Division 21, BTR versus SNICS. HOF versus VKG. MAD versus ASI. HE versus AO. Division 22, ECH2 versus OMG2. LPG versus PX. CLGT versus 404. Max versus Pod 1. Division 23, DYH versus DTF2. IWG versus Pod. INWA 4. CRSSH. And then we have DOU versus WB. Division 24, FSK versus AVIC. Bear versus Gray. A547 versus Rage or R4GE. DEA versus Unit. Division 25, Squiggly Eyes versus EXG. HE versus HD. Ego versus BRY. War versus DNM. Division 26, YSS versus UOU. WIC versus IR. War versus FA. KOV versus OC. Division 27, S2AK versus NTW. HP versus BHF. GSS versus HTF. Best versus TMDB. Division 28, ROG versus NF57. Wolf versus 30NC. VP22 versus NCB. Go versus TGV. Division 29, I versus 21SW. GDW versus LV. 5 PUD versus MH2. NXSC versus K502. Division 30, 25IL, GG versus Lion, GG, and then Lion versus RP. SSL versus PB. Suns versus GF. Division 31, NTA versus FA. Sura versus GPX. Swag versus PP. Brew versus Alti. And then last division for 32 is GCS versus NXW. RGU versus FG. SIP versus HIP. And EXG versus FTS. That rounds us out for what we got coming up. Again, those are going to be happening on Sunday. Now, there are some matches I want to point out that I think we can argue are a little bit more looking forward to versus others, right? Like, as an example, if I had to go down this list, I think the NMNXG match, that's pretty darn close. Even these, I mean, again, if we're just talking about like legendary rounds for like the top that are group, like, again, WB will probably advance. I think BTX is most likely going to advance. Right? Maybe something here, but I think you might give it to Beck. However, this, again, right, I think some of the numbers, if they're close enough, like EIS, again, right, like you would expect to win, 30 NA you expect to win. These numbers are a little bit closer. I think, for me, it feels like the second match on round one for the kingdoms that won first in their groups feel like they have more potential to be better, a better spectating experience. So like for me, that's really what I'm looking forward to. I don't think the top ones really even out until we get a lot lower. Yeah. So see, here you go. Like now you're getting within like 500 mil. So like, again, maybe this could be an okay match, right? This is 6, almost 700 mil, but this is 500 MFD MVP. That could maybe be something. This could be X and SCL, I think, here in Division 20. Because you have 360 million power differential. So like these are the top, like again, I think some of the top teams that won their group, you could see some decent matches. Those are two that I would probably look out for. I think this one, DYH DTF2, that could be one as well. AVIC FSK, I think that could be a match to watch out for. Even this, Squiggly Guys EXG, right? That's another match I think to look out for. S2AK NTW, that's another match to look out for. I think ROG NF57 could be as well. I like this one between Tiny's team and 21SW. I mean, that's like, what, 200 mil apart? Again, that could be a good match. 25 FWGG, that could be a really good match. And NTAFA could be a good match. GCSNX, like, again, some of these teams that placed first in their group, absolutely. Like, as far as on the top end, right? Or on the left side. The right side, so like the first two groups winners, again, round like Division 20 onward, I think if you're looking at the second, like Group C and D within the division is going to be this right side here. I think a lot of these, quite a few of these are going to be good matchups. But I think from like, if you're looking at like some of the higher powered teams, I think from Group A and B, it's going to probably start around Division 20 and beyond, right? Where you're going to look at some of those matchups and be like, okay, those are someone that I'll definitely watch some replays on. So again, right, we're going to get some. But as most of you know, the top teams probably isn't going to end up happening until we get to playoffs right after division champs have been crowned. That's it for me. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to. Are you getting a little bit more excited, a little more hyped? Let me know your thoughts down below. That's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.